close-up on a sly grin, one corner of the mouth curling up with confidence. The character's internal monologue says, "I don't know the details, but it seems like a nice opportunity." This suggests he's taking advantage of the situation, possibly manipulating or scheming behind the scenes. A single drop of sweat trails down, showing tension masked under that confident smile. The suited man from earlier now faces the main character. His posture is guarded, one brow raised, still unsure whether to trust what he's hearing. He speaks, hesitating slightly. "So let's say you were telling me the truth. What are you suggesting we do?" It's a moment of doubt mixed with reluctant cooperation, as chaos still looms around them. "We gotta dive in." His voice was steady, resolute. There wasn't a shred of doubt in his eyes. No second-guessing, no hesitation. Whatever stood ahead, they were going through it. "If we move one by one, we'll be easy targets." The tree ahead crackled with a vicious energy. Its twisted roots smashed the earth like coiled serpents lashing out in fury. He raised his hand, pointing to both sides. We charged from opposite directions at the same time. It wasn't just strategy, it was survival. Divide the threat or be swallowed whole. The first guy, the one in the suit, finally starts putting it together. He looks over and says, "So you want to distract it?" His tone is serious now. He's in. Meanwhile, the other guy stands calmly with his hands in his jacket, eyes shadowed but determined. "Yep," he responds. No hesitation. The plan's already in motion. They step out into the open, walking side by side. The tension is real now. The one in the blue jacket gives a final warning. "Remember, if even one of us hesitates, we both die." It's not just about fighting now, it's about trust. Perfect coordination or nothing. The suited guy smirks a bit, trying to shake off the pressure. "Don't worry, I played plenty of this game as well." They're both committed now. This isn't just a game anymore. It's life or death, and the only way forward is straight through the danger. Tap. One foot slams forward, light, fast, full of purpose. This isn't just a step. It's the signal. FWIP. He surges like a bullet down the hall, arms cutting through the air, eyes locked ahead. Every breath he takes is calculated. Every second counts. He remembers what the other guy said. Even one moment of hesitation, and we're both dead. Not this time. Not him. This is no longer a game. This is survival. And he's all in. Thud. The suited man slams his foot into the marble floor, launching forward like a bullet. His eyes sharpen, focused, unwavering. Meanwhile, the massive tree-like creature looms ahead. Its bark pulses with unnatural energy, groaning as tendrils lash and sway, sensing movement. From opposite sides, both men charge in unison. A perfect pincer strike. Boom! Massive roots slam into the ground like living hammers, cracking concrete and sending debris flying. The tree, no, the creature, isn't just defending. It's hunting. From the chaos of twisting wood, one root lunges like a serpent, sharp, fast, and deadly. But he's already in motion. The boy in the blue jacket dives low, body coiled like a spring, eyes locked ahead. A hair's breadth from being skewered, he twists, narrowly evading the strike. His breathing is steady. This isn't panic. This is precision. He's done this before. Only this time. The game's real. What about Lee Jong-soo? His tone was flat, but his eyes burned with intensity. A question, yes, but more like a challenge. The room felt colder. He wasn't just asking out of curiosity. He already knew something. The moment that name was dropped. "You stupid idiot." The man in the suit exploded with rage. "Who would trust your words?" His voice echoed through the air like a slap. It wasn't just anger, it was fear. Lee Jong-soo's name had hit a nerve. And now, the tension was ready to snap. One knows too much. The other's trying too hard to hide. Things are about to get messy. Cold smirk stretches across the man's face. "Go ahead and be bait." His words drip with mockery, not even trying to hide the betrayal. He never intended to fight fair. The moment the words leave his mouth, a massive wooden tendril crashes down. The younger one braces himself, cloak whipping in the wind, eyes sharp despite the chaos. He doesn't flinch. He moves. There's no time to argue. Either play the role or die before the next breath. I'm so glad. His voice is low, almost too calm for the chaos around him. But that smirk, it isn't relief. It's recognition, as if everything, from the betrayal to the setup, was exactly how he expected it to go. You haven't changed. He whispers it like a cold truth, not a compliment. Not bitterness either. Just fact. The other man still plays dirty, still uses people, and that's why this is going to be easy. Sudden slash impact. A blur cuts through the air like a blade of vengeance. No hesitation, no second guessing. The strike is fast, violent, and final. Something just shifted. This isn't a distraction anymore. It's payback. TCH. He clenches his jaw, eyes fixed, breath sharp. The monster's whip-like appendage slices through the air, just inches from his face, but he doesn't flinch. He's not just dodging. He's baiting. The one who is the bait. The thought echoes coldly in his mind, laced with irony. In the distance, the suited man stands in the open, confused. He was never the target. With a roar of force, the creature's massive strike curves, veering off the intended path. Right toward him. The trap he thought he set was never his to control. And now, with the speed of a missile, death barrels toward the one who thought he'd been watching from safety. Is you. The person who is standing further away. The protagonist's voice cuts through the chaos like a blade. The realization dawns. The whole plan was flipped. He wasn't the bait. Someone else was. Someone who thought they were in control. The suited man's eyes widen in panic. What? His confidence shatters in an instant. The blur of a strike is already surging toward him. He's caught off guard. The trap he thought he set has turned on him. A bead of sweat slides down his cheek as the incoming threat barrels closer. This moment marks the twist. The true strategist isn't the one shouting loudest. It's the one who lets others think they've won. Ask ChatGPT. The trap is sprung. Vines explode like a nest of serpents, thick, gnarled, and merciless, wrapping around the suited man's limbs, his torso, even his neck. Up! His scream rips through the air as his body is violently yanked upward, branches slamming him into the wall like a rag doll. His polished composure? Gone. His arrogant confidence? Shattered. He wasn't the bait. He was the target. And now, the real player steps forward. He really ran. The restrained man's eyes widen in disbelief as he watches the blue-jacketed figure sprint away, not once looking back. Twisted roots tighten their grip, wrapping around his chest like a noose. His expression turns to panic. Sweat streams down. His voice cracks. "You bastard!" He howls, pure rage and terror twisting his features. The betrayal is complete. He thought he was using the other guy as bait. But in reality, he was the bait all along. Why should I? The boy didn't even look back. If you have a problem, take it to court with those lawyers of yours. And for the first time, the arrogant man wept. Tears of regret. Tears too late. The tendrils tightened mercilessly around the man's body, crushing his arrogance along with his bones. Panic flooded his eyes as tears welled up. Raw survival instinct replacing all previous confidence. And no, I don't want to die, he screamed, voice cracking, but it was too late. The tree's wrath answered with a violent twist. His final cry echoed, smothered beneath the creaking limbs. Blood sprayed as his body was yanked into the air, consumed by the very trap he laughed at moments ago. Justice had taken root, and it showed no mercy. With cold eyes and no hint of remorse, he watched the screaming man get swallowed by the writhing roots. "Goodbye, you piece of shit," he muttered, his voice flat, unforgiving. But he didn't stop, because this wasn't over. As the ground trembled beneath him and the twisted tree roared to life once again, he turned his gaze toward the next target. His expression hardened. His steps were steady, but his heart burned with fury. This was retribution, and he was just getting started. The boy steadies himself, standing firm as the tree roots whip around violently. His hoodie flutters in the surge of power around him. There's no hesitation in his posture, only controlled aggression, like a coiled spring about to snap. 22 degrees from the left. His eyes narrow sharply. He isn't just fighting, He's calculating, tracking the trajectory of each root as they tear through the air. A single blink, and he's visualized the angle of attack. Thick root cuts across the scene like a deadly blade. The speed and weight behind it could crush bones like twigs, but he doesn't falter. His gaze never breaks contact. 35 degrees from the right. Another root barrels toward him, its path jagged and erratic. But to him, it's predictable. His irises reflect the incoming strike, his brain already processing the counter. The protagonist stands unfazed, his eyes locked on the writhing tendrils aiming for him. With a calm yet confident breath, he shifts his body ever so slightly. Inner monologue. Dodging isn't hard if you can read the angles. Two massive tendrils smash into one another with crushing force, missing him by mere inches. The sheer impact sends shockwaves down the arena floor, debris flying. Had he moved even a split second too late, he would have been torn in half. But to him, it was like solving a math problem. Predictable. Clean. The powerful strike connects. Roots are flung back violently as energy bursts around the thick bark. The tree shudders under the sudden impact, lines of force cracking through its core like lightning in wood. With a monstrous creak and a deafening snap, the ancient tree can't hold on any longer. Its trunk twists unnaturally, then breaks apart completely, toppling with a thunderous crash that shakes the battlefield. All right, finally, the scene slows down. The camera focuses on the twisted tree, its bark tearing apart, revealing something grotesque buried within. A beating heart, pink, raw, and pulsing, emerges from within the cracked wood. Dudun. Dudun. The monster's core is exposed. Vulnerable. Alive. The real fight is about to begin. The core of the mangrove has revealed itself. His eyes narrow. The moment he's been waiting for, finally within reach. The heartbeat of the monstrous tree pulses in front of him, a grotesque lump of flesh nestled deep within its trunk. The timing has to be perfect. No second chances. A faint smirk dances across his lips. It's exactly the same as what I experienced in the game. His confidence is not born of arrogance, but preparation. Every motion, every twitch of the mangrove's tendrils, predicted. Yet finding out the exact angles the attacks come from, and manipulating the attacks to my advantage is the difficult part. This isn't just a fight. This is execution. A strategy years in the making now put to the test in real life. The tension in the air tightens like a taut string. A lone figure appears before our protagonist, partially shadowed by the swirling dust. His stance is cocky, confident, even amused. No need to make this ugly. The stranger says, a smug grin tugging at his lips. Just hand over the tree orb. He's not asking. He's expecting obedience. But the sharp glint in the protagonist's eyes tells a different story. One that ends in blood, not barter. The vines whip toward him in a blinding flurry, red, writhing, and blood-hungry. The mangrove of greed uses the skill vampiric vines. The system prompt flashes before his eyes, but there's no time to react. Dozens, no, hundreds of tendrils swarm the air, cutting through space with deadly precision. He braces, but even he knows this is far more than he can dodge. Even though I'm a no-lifer, I can't dodge all that. The cold realization hits. This isn't a game anymore. One wrong move, and it's over. A deadly calm settles in his eyes. The chaos rages on around him, but he sees only his target. Every muscle in his body tenses, not with fear, but with precise, focused intent. He's not going to run. He's going to end this. Snap. His hand closes around the jagged spear of wood like it was forged just for him. Not a moment of hesitation. This is the moment. If he's going to strike, it has to be now. Slash. The sharpened wood spear pierces through the fleshy vine with a vicious crackle, severing the monstrous tendril midair. Red sap splatters like blood, painting the battlefield with proof of the strike's precision. His form is tight, focused, arms crossed to guard, eyes locked with deadly calm. This isn't desperation anymore, it's calculation. The second vine lashes out, swift and merciless. But he doesn't flinch. With steely resolve, he raises his forearm, bracing for impact. The force sends a shock wave through his bones, but he holds his ground, unmoved. Behind gritted teeth and furrowed brows, he fights through the pain, because the opening he needs is just seconds away. And he's not going to miss it. Boom! The ground erupts in a violent shock wave, debris flying like missiles. The vines thrash wildly in the blinding light, and everything vanishes beneath the wave of explosive force. Through the chaos, the boy charges in, not dodging this time, but countering head-on. His hoodie flares in the storm, wooden stake gripped tightly. His movements aren't reckless. They're precise, calculated, relentless. Deflecting the attacks is still definitely doable. The protagonist's inner monologue pulses with confidence as he tightens his grip on the sharpened wooden stake, his resolve unwavering. From the heart of the chaos, the mangrove of greed rides violently. Its grotesque trunk twists into a monstrous silhouette, rage seething from its bark-like tendrils. The entire arena trembles as the boss unleashes its fury, no longer just defending its core, but now attacking with intent to kill. Boom! A blackened mass of roots and gnarled wood slams down like a divine punishment, thick, heavy, and brutal. The sky itself trembles. There's no need to be scared. His inner voice is calm, unwavering, and no reason to be afraid. His breath steadies. His grip tightens. The storm may rage, but he stands unshaken. Crack! The barrage intensifies. Vines slam down from every direction, like whips cracking the air, slicing stone, seeking flesh. But he stands tall, focused, eyes gleaming with eerie calm under pressure. His footwork shifts, fluid and sharp. He spins with the broken spear in hand, striking vines mid-air, deflecting each one with mechanical precision. The momentum is his now. "You're not fast enough," he mutters. Boom! The tendrils crash violently into the concrete, shattering the earth and leaving behind a cratered battlefield. The sheer force of the mangrove's attack shakes the air. A foot plants firmly on the ground. Calm. Steady. He's not running anymore. He's advancing. A deadly tendril slices past the boy, but he doesn't flinch. His eyes are sharp, honed by experience. His body flows like water, the wooden spike in his hand cutting arcs through the air. This pattern, same timing, same delay after each pulse. His lips curl into a smirk. I've danced this dance before. The protagonist swings his weapon downward, attempting to land a hit on the mangrove of greed's vines. His expression is serious, and there's visible motion blur showing how fast and forceful the swing is. It seems like he's trying to break through the vines, but there's no clear impact, implying the attack might not have landed. The protagonist is seen dodging or running with determination. The vines are still around him, and he's looking ahead with a focused expression. He's holding the weapon tightly and says, "Almost there," which suggests he hasn't succeeded yet, but is getting closer to his goal. A large tree trunk slams down with violent force. The impact is heavy, with motion lines and cracking sounds emphasizing the sheer power behind the attack. The target's silhouette dodges to the side, narrowly avoiding the blow. Suddenly, the chaos breaks. Light pours in from the sky above. A burst of glowing butterflies floods the forest canopy, filling the space with serenity and ethereal beauty. Everything slows for a moment, the tension fading into a surreal calm. The protagonist steadies himself, bracing against the chaotic energy swirling around. His eyes are locked forward with intensity. He's not giving up. Without hesitation, he launches forward, arm raised and ready to strike. The momentum builds. This is his moment to fight back with everything he's got. He knew exactly what kind of creatures he was dealing with. Monsters that release sleeping powder as a defense. One wrong breath, and he'd be out cold. But this wasn't his first time. He'd already trained himself for moments like this. With his face covered and mind focused, he charged forward, dodging their strikes. It wasn't hard. Not when you knew the trick. The protagonist bursts forward, launching himself through the flurry of glowing butterflies, eyes locked on his target. He braces his body midair, muscles tensed. He's about to strike. Just hold your breath suffices. He isn't panicked. He knows exactly what to do. He reaches it. Embedded in the gnarled bark of the tree monster, a large, pulsating heart lies exposed, glowing and vulnerable. This is the core, the weak spot. The protagonist launches himself like a missile, crashing down with explosive force. His fist, glowing with power, slams into the forest floor, right where the tree's heart is buried. A violent shockwave blasts through the forest. The tree shakes, creaks, and groans. Branches twist unnaturally as the impact sends a ripple through its entire structure. Panel 1. The protagonist thrusts his hand forward, red energy swirling around it as he prepares to strike. His palm hits the target with full force, causing a bright explosion of energy at the impact point. The protagonist slams his fist into the core of the tree monster, sending a burst of glowing energy through its trunk as butterflies scatter from the impact. Cut to the antagonist. His eyes go wide, his expression stiffens, and crimson lightning crackles around his face. He's clearly stunned by the sudden turn. The protagonist delivers a finishing blow, slamming his full weight and energy into the heart of the massive tree. The impact sends shockwaves up the trunk, splintering the wood as energy bursts from the point of contact. A hush falls over the forest. Leaves swirl and scatter gently in the aftermath, caught in the glowing light of the fading energy. The battle is over. A system message appears in bright, glowing text. You are the first to defeat the mangrove tree of greed. The significance is clear. This was no ordinary foe. The camera pans out, revealing the defeated tree looming in the quiet aftermath. The protagonist stands tall before it, breathing heavily as the corrupted glow fades from the trunk. The forest has gone still. No more butterflies, no more chaos. Only silence and the crackle of fading energy remain. The protagonist stands quietly in the aftermath, his lips slightly parted as if processing what just happened. The tension finally breaks. With a faint smile, he looks up, reflecting on his journey. To think all that relentless research, tracking patterns, memorizing timing, would actually pay off. For the first time in a while, he's not just relieved, he's grateful. Honestly, I'm thankful for everything I've done up to now. A system message appears. Your achievements will be recorded in the Hall of Fame for the entirety of tomorrow. A sign that what he did here today won't just be remembered, it'll be immortalized. Another message follows, this one short, simple, yet profound. Please state your name. The moment has come, not just to celebrate a victory, but to claim it, to give a name to the legend just forged. The protagonist glares at the system prompt, unimpressed. As expected, he mutters, clearly annoyed. A digital prompt glows beside him, demanding a name for the Hall of Fame entry. Staring at the input field label name, he turns away slightly and responds coldly, I don't have a name. It will all be confidential. His refusal is firm. His identity remains a secret. Shall I continue with the next panels if you're uploading more? The protagonist glares at the system's prompt, internally refusing to reveal his personal information. A name input screen hovers beside him, unfilled. He reasons that if word gets out about him being a former top player, it would draw unwanted attention. He mutters with slight annoyance, realizing the system won't allow full anonymity. Some form of identification is mandatory. A notification appears. Name, unknown. Your face will be covered with a mosaic and your voice will be changed. The protagonist stares at the message with calm acceptance. It's telling me to settle for a hidden identity, he mutters. Then, after a brief pause, he adds, well, it's not like there's nothing I can't do about it in the future. He smirks slightly. Have it your way. Close-up of his hand, gently pressing against the glowing bark, a soft hum vibrating under his palm. Narration, inner monologue, this is more important right now. Zoomed out shot. The protagonist leans forward, steadying himself against the tree. Wind and remnants of energy swirl around him like whispers of recognition. No words, just the quiet tension of something ancient awakening beneath his fingertips. The protagonist smiles with quiet satisfaction, eyes narrowed in focused triumph. He lifts his hand, revealing a glowing green orb resting in his palm. The clear reward for defeating the mangrove tree of greed. The protagonist triumphantly shouts, "I finally got it!" His eyes gleam with satisfaction, surrounded by a dramatic burst effect emphasizing his excitement. With a confident smile, he clenches his fist and pulls down on his hoodie's zipper strap slightly. His posture relaxed, but his aura says it all. Mission accomplished. A glowing notification hovers in the air. Obtain tree essence. Tree orb. The panel zooms in on a glistening crimson fruit nestled in glowing leaves. Liquid magic dripping from its surface. Caption below. If each tree fruit increases strength, agility, or magic by 3. The orb floated in his palm, glowing with a faint pulse of energy. Leaves swirled in the air around it, drawn to its power like moths to a flame. His eyes narrowed, calculating. This one orb is worth 4 level-ups. A grin tugged at the corner of his lips. He clenched his hand around the tree orb, and the swirling wind stilled. In the early stages of the game, this much of a boost is completely overpowered. His fingers loosened, holding the orb gently now, like a jewel too precious to waste. With this, I can dominate the next few quests without even breaking a sweat. A new sense of confidence burned in his eyes. The mangrove tree of greed may have fallen, but for him, this was only the beginning. Close up on the protagonist's intense eyes as he raises the glowing tree orb to his lips. Inner monologue, thought bubble. It's a broken item. There's nothing as cost-effective as this. Lower caption box. Even in all the 50 floors. The protagonist places the orb into his mouth with a determined look, swallowing it in one smooth motion. The orb sparkles with energy, casting a soft glow on his face. Sound effect, gulp. Zoomed out shot. He lowers his hand slowly, fists clenching as the orb's energy begins to surge through him. His hoodie ripples from an unseen force as the ground trembles faintly beneath him. Visual. The protagonist stands still, engulfed in a radiant glow. Energy surges around his chest, his jacket fluttering, and his arms relaxed yet powerful. It's clear the orb has taken effect, merging with his body. Vibe, transcendent and empowering, like he's leveling up in real time. Inner monologue, optional. 12 stat points, coursing through every nerve. This power, it's real. Visual, a close-up of his narrowed eyes, gleaming with intensity and calculation. Dialogue, Inner monologue. This changes everything. I'll need to reassess my entire climb strategy for the next floor. Kong Jin-hyuk stared at the glowing screen before him. He tilted his head slightly, tapping the screen with practiced precision. All right, he muttered under his breath. Should I check its effect? Status. Name, Kong Jin-hyuk. Sex, male. Age, 27. Level 1. Strength, 5. Agility, 6. Vitality, 7. Magic, 5. Stat points possessed, 12. Class, none. Unique ability, none. Skill, none. The system interface flashes once more. Blue system box. All status changes have been successfully applied. You may now proceed to the next trial. Kong Jin-hyuk clenches his fists, feeling the surge of newfound power in his veins. A wind picks up around him, ruffling his jacket. Kong, internal monologue. With just one item, I've caught up to players who train for weeks. Close-up of his eyes, sharp and focused. Kong, internal monologue. And this is just the beginning. A young man in a blue hoodie sits calmly in front of screen, the glow illuminating his sharp gaze. The upload progress bar hits 100%. But the moment the video finished uploading, a wide shot of a glowing monitor playing the recorded run of the Mangrove Tree of Greed. Right side, multiple silhouettes leaning closer to their screens, eyes wide. Narration box. But as the video played, everything changed. Comments begin to flood in like a storm. Comments section highlighted. Wait, did he just dodge every attack flawlessly? That's no luck. That's muscle memory and instinct. Check the movement pattern. He predicted the mangrove's vines before they even moved. A close-up of a famous pro streamer's reaction, eyes wide behind his glasses as he watches the video. Pro streamer, speech bubble. This guy, he's not just good, he's experienced. That's elite-tier gameplay. The player, Kong Jin-hyuk, watches from his screen with a smirk as the upvotes soar into the thousands. The chat changed. From doubt to awe. A large banner flashes on the screen. Trending number 1. Mangrove solo clear. Unknown god. Hidden identity, but a name already echoing across the tower. Close-up comment section. Chat messages flying in rapid succession, lit up in awe instead of doubt. Wait, that was a perfect dodge. He predicted the attack pattern. That's not RNG, that's precision. Narration box. Doubt turned into shock. Shock into admiration. The moment the video was uploaded, the internet exploded. All the doubts, all the sneers, all the accusations of cheating or dumb luck vanished. As the footage rolled, viewers were left speechless, mesmerized by the masked figure darting through the chaos like a phantom. His movements were precise, his timing flawless, and his attacks devastating. Pixelated or not, his power was undeniable. Frame by frame, the world saw the truth. This wasn't luck. This was skill. Pure, honed, unstoppable skill. Visual. The massive mangrove tree of greed stands tall, scarred and shaking, pieces of bark crumbling off as the aftermath of Kong Jin-hyuk's attack echoes through the forest. SFX Croc. The tree of greed, long thought to be invincible, trembled under his assault. Reactions, although slightly varied, were consistent. Kong Jin-hyuk sits in front of his monitor, calmly analyzing the comment flood on his secondary account. But suddenly, Kong Jin-hyuk, looking at another screen, surprised. Meanwhile, on my main account, he leans closer to the screen, frowning slightly. Kong Jin-hyuk in a relaxed posture, sitting back in his chair. Kong Jin-hyuk, thoughtful expression. Was it really that amazing? Of course, Mangrove of Greed isn't easy to beat at level 1. But it's not something to be this surprised about. We see the protagonist screen still showing the first Mangrove Tree of Greed clear post with glowing light reflecting off the monitor. His expression is contemplative. Kong Jin-hyuk, inner monologue. Anyways, 1 billion. I'll take it. His eyes are calm but determined. Kong Jin-hyuk, inner monologue. With that kind of money, I can finally begin laying the groundwork for the real game. I lived a life hard to even earn a living. Panel shows a webcam on a monitor bathed in soft daylight. Narration box. It was common to be late on rent. It wasn't just about surviving. It was a constant struggle between hunger and pride. Streaming had become a lifeline, but to keep the content going, I often pushed my body to its limits, sacrificing meals just to afford the next feast for the camera. Now, sitting before a mountain of food, I devoured it like a man possessed, not for taste, not even for hunger, but for the sake of views, for the illusion of success. Every bite was a reminder of what I endured just to stay afloat in a world that only saw numbers. If this opportunity had come just a day earlier, Kong Jin-hyuk wouldn't have thought twice. He would have snatched it up in a heartbeat, hungry for success, desperate for a break. But now, everything had changed. He stood silently in front of the massive, splintered remains of the mangrove tree of greed, its corrupted core still glowing faintly, as if acknowledging its conqueror. His breath was steady, his resolve unwavering. "I'm not going to sell my knowledge," he muttered under his breath, voice cold and firm. Not for 1 billion, not even for 10. He didn't need their money anymore. He had something far more valuable now: power, foresight, and the time to use it. And he would never let anyone else control that again. The most important thing right now was information, and he planned to monopolize it. With a steady hand, he pulled out his phone. The screen glowed as he began typing, his next destination already in mind. The moment the game was played, everything changed. From the heart of Seoul, the Tower of Trial began to bleed mana, swirling tendrils of raw, radiant energy escaped its towering form like a storm ripping across the sky. The once still air crackled with arcane static, a pulse of magical power spreading unseen, yet deeply felt across the entire city. Skyscrapers stood helpless beneath the storm. Their glass windows reflected the violet and crimson spiral forming above. Yet for all the spectacle and panic that followed, no catastrophe came. Not immediately. Inner voice. It didn't have a significant effect. Not at first glance. But if there was one real change, one ripple that couldn't be ignored. Every artifact, once considered inert, suddenly awakened. Ordinary magical items, forgotten trinkets, relics scavenged by players and stored away in vaults and backpacks. Each one began to shine with an unexplainable radiance. Their auras intensified. Their powers bloomed. Inner voice, firm and reflective. It was that the artifacts outside of the tower became holy artifacts. In one museum, a sword locked in a display case started reacting. It was just decoration before, something to admire behind glass. But now, it was vibrating. It was glowing. Mana was seeping into it, as if the weapon had remembered its true form. It wasn't real. Not originally. The legendary artifacts were inside the tower. This sword? It was just a copy. But now, even a copy could become dangerous. Thanks to the tower's mana, replicas weren't just replicas anymore. They were awakening. As the moonlight bathed the city, the protagonist pulled out his phone. He wasn't just browsing. He had a plan. His voice was calm, but what he said carried weight. This is the place you can get the most replicas. And that place? It was none other than the National Museum of Korea. Under the glow of a pale moon, he stood before the massive building that held countless relics, some mere replicas, others possibly awakened by the tower's mana. Every step he took from here on out wasn't just about exploration, it was a heist, a knowledge heist, a raid on relics that had just become real. As the camera pans up, we see a dazzling array of ancient artifacts suspended mid-air in a magical blue glow, an elegant sword, a sturdy round shield, a mystical scroll with old script, and a small white vessel. These aren't just museum pieces anymore. They become something more. But here's the twist. He's not the only one aiming for these relics. Close-up of the protagonist's face, tension rising. Unlike the mangrove of greed, which sprouted in 7 locations across Seoul, there's only one national museum. But he wasn't alone in this race. Others had sensed the same opportunity. From the shadows of Seoul, former top players, seasoned, ruthless, and hungry for dominance, began to emerge. Each one driven by ambition. Each one ready to fight. He didn't hesitate. With a firm grip, he reached out and opened the door to the unknown. You have entered the event area, and so, our protagonist steps inside. The door creaks open behind him, but there's nothing. No chatter. No echoing footsteps. Just silence. It's quieter than I expected, he mutters, eyes scanning the room. He was expecting competition. A crowd of hunters. A clash of wills. But instead, it's empty. Too empty. And then, his eyes widen. Muscles tense. Something's wrong. That eerie quiet wasn't peace. It was a warning. He senses it now. He's not alone after all. The real game is about to begin. Protagonist steps in, sees the body. As I stepped into the silent hall, the stench of scorched flesh hit me before I even looked down. And there was, just as I had expected, a body, charred beyond recognition, twisted, crumpled on the cold floor. Whoever came before me didn't last long. Shocked reaction, realization. My eyes narrowed. This wasn't just a random death. This was a warning. Something in here doesn't want us alive. As the world plunged into chaos and power became the new currency, I thought people would take time to adapt, but I was wrong. Our protagonist stands in the museum, gazing at the aftermath, shattered glass, broken cases. He had expected resistance, but what he found was much more than that. People weren't just adapting to this new world. They were evolving fast. The gap between what he imagined and what was actually happening, far greater than he could have predicted. He looks ahead, his eyes now locked onto a staircase. That's where the real prize is up in the medieval classical era gallery. That's where the artifact is kept, the one everyone came here to claim. And in a place crawling with competitors, former top-ranked players, and desperate survivors, there's no room for hesitation. So in this scene, we see the protagonist laying out an ancient map, the great map of the Eastland. He's showing it to us, but right away, he makes it clear he's not looking at this like a normal map of Korea. Then he explains it. This map is special. It's not just historical. It's been infused with magical energy. Why is that important? Because this map holds secrets about the Tower of Trials. That's why everyone is after it. Not for history, but for power. It's not just a map anymore. It's a blueprint for conquest. Each glowing icon reveals the exact locations of mazes and ancient ruins, mystical places filled with unknown dangers and unimaginable rewards. From monsters lurking in the shadows to relics hidden deep within, this map exposes it all. Who wouldn't crave something like this? Even if it only shows up to the 10th floor of the Tower of Trials, that alone is enough. Enough to ignite obsession. Hands reach, desperate and greedy. Hearts burn with desire. Because having this map means one thing: power. And in a world where knowledge is everything, yes, everyone will want that. The protagonist reflects on the greed of others. Everyone is obsessed with the flashy, powerful artifacts, like the magical map from earlier. But in doing so, they ignore other hidden treasures. He's implying that the truly valuable artifacts, the ones that hold deeper importance, are overlooked because they're not obvious or flashy. The real power lies buried under the chaos, and no one's paying attention. Chaos has erupted. People are now physically fighting over the artifacts. The tension has snapped. A fight broke out, likely over who gets to claim a specific item, possibly even a fake or less valuable one. In the scramble, someone smashed a vase, and desperate screams fill the air. This shows how far the players have fallen, consumed by greed and competition. Chaos erupts. The room that once held priceless artifacts is now a full-blown battlefield. People claw and scream, trampling over each other in a frenzy. A woman is tackled for a broken piece of ceramic. A man throws punches just to hold on to what he thinks is a treasure. Blood smears across the shattered floor. Fear and greed twist into violence. And then, a roar cuts through the madness like a blade. Everybody freeze. The command echoes louder than any weapon, snapping attention back from the brink. But the damage has already been done. And just like that, chaos erupts. In the first scene, one man's greed boils over. He lunges, grabs another by the collar, and lands a punch right across his face. The crowd around them starts to panic, the tension snapping like a whip. But then, silence falls. A new figure steps forward, calm, composed, deadly serious. His presence alone commands the room. With arms crossed and a cold, piercing gaze, he declares without hesitation, "Anyone who moves from now on will die to me." No one dares to test him. Not after seeing the blood-red mark pulsing on his neck. Not after hearing the tone in his voice. It's clear this is no longer about loot. This has become survival. And just like that, tension snaps like a drawn wire. Armed with nothing but scrap tools and brute defiance, two men step forward. One lifts a steel pipe, his voice cutting through the heavy air like a blade. "Bullshit." The other, bloodied and grinning, clutching a hammer, mocks the threat with wild eyes and a crazed smile. Nobody here will chicken out from empty threats like that. They've tasted fear, sure, but now desperation is stronger. This isn't a battle of strength anymore. It's a clash of madness, greed, and raw survival. And no one is backing down. Not anymore. As the tension explodes into pure violence, the man with the hammer stands his ground, threatening to bash in anyone who so much as flinches. His grip tightens around the weapon, blood still dripping from its edge, proof he's not bluffing. But across from him, the calm is shattered. With a deep breath and a flash of glowing red eyes, the muscle-bound enforcer cracks his knuckles, fury rising like a storm. "Guess words don't do the trick," he growls, his voice low, dangerous. Then, with a sudden motion, he tears open his shirt in a surge of power, energy bursting around him as if the atmosphere itself is responding to his rage. The real fight is about to begin. And just like that, the tension explodes. With a furious roar, the man rips off the sleeves of his shirt, revealing monstrous arms infused with terrifying power. Veins bulge, energy crackles. This isn't just intimidation anymore. This is real. He's awakened his unique ability. Watching from a short distance, one of the battered survivors grips his weapon tighter, his confidence now shaken. Even he can tell, this guy isn't normal. Behind him, a woman's voice breaks the silence, stunned and uneasy. Already has a unique ability? The man growls under his breath. Shit, that's a bit dangerous. Because in this world, awakening early means one thing. He's not just ahead of the game. He might be unstoppable. As his monstrous form towers with power, the man snarls, "The map is mine." Smoke curls around him like an aura of fury, his transformed limbs pulsing with raw strength. He's completely consumed by greed and domination. But just when it seems like no one would dare challenge him, we cut to his furious face, veins bulging with rage. He growls through clenched teeth. "The map is yours?" The words sting with disbelief and fury. He's not just angry. He's ready to fight for it. Tension crackles in the air. The battle for the map is about to explode. Just as the chaos was boiling over, a calm, almost mocking voice cuts through the storm. A white-haired old man strolls into the battlefield, hands behind his back, relaxed like he's out for an evening walk. I can't agree with those words," he says casually, his presence halting the madness. Everyone turns. Confusion flickers. Who is this guy? The muscle head with the monstrous transformation glares at him, veins bulging, rage bubbling. "Hey, old geezer, are you crazy?" The threat is clear. One wrong word, and this place will erupt again. But the old man doesn't flinch. Something about his calm feels dangerous. And what comes next will shake the battlefield. And just like that, the tension explodes. The old man, calm and deliberate, introduces himself, Min Young-woo, not old geezer. His name carries a meaning. Live life with kindness and friendship. But kindness was the last thing on anyone's mind here. The brute, veins bulging and fury ignited, isn't impressed. He lashes out, mocking the moment, eyes blazing with violence. He doesn't want names. He wants submission, and he's ready to break necks to get it. Min Young-woo, the old man, stays composed despite the young man's threat. His eyes stay half closed, voice steady, as he offers a biting remark. "Your mouth is dirty for someone so young. You've got a knife for a tongue." His expression is unimpressed, like he's seen 100 hotheads before. In Young-woo raises one hand and gently flicks his finger. A small sound escapes, bing, as the air starts to shift. Then he says, "However," and just like that, something begins to change. The calm before the storm. The old man's eyes sharpen, his calm demeanor hardening into stone. "Which do you think is faster?" he asks, voice like smoldering coal. "For you to break my neck, or for me to turn you into coal?" With a simple flick of his finger, a small blaze ignites. Not just fire, but a warning, a declaration. This isn't just an old man. This is someone dangerous. The battlefield just shifted. The camera zooms in as the flaming orb hurtles toward the man with the floral tattoo. He throws his arms up instinctively, face twisted in panic. SFX, hush. Fire the fireball closes in fast, heat distorting the air around it. Boom! The explosion of flame engulfs the area in a burst of red and orange light. The tattooed man is sent flying backward, crashing into debris. Ash rains down like snow as the silence that follows the blast feels heavier than any threat spoken earlier. The flames roar to life like a dragon awakened. The fireball launched from Min Young-woo's fingers was no bluff. It was hell incarnate. In the blink of an eye, it streaked through the air like a comet, landing squarely on the chest of the tattooed thug. His eyes widened in disbelief, pupils reflecting the incoming inferno. He had no time to dodge. Boom! The explosion of fire swallowed him whole. Flames erupted from his chest, shoulders, and face, licking up to the ceiling in a flash of molten fury. His screams tore through the silence, a brutal symphony of pain. Arg! His tough exterior, his bravado, his threats, all melted away in seconds. Around them, the crowd stood frozen. No one dared breathe. This wasn't just a frail old man with words. This was a mage who could incinerate you for blinking wrong. The burnt, hollow shell of the man crumbles slowly, cracking from head to toe. His skull, blackened and scorched, begins to collapse. Mouth frozen mid-scream, teeth exposed as his face peels away. Chunks of his body fall off like burnt paper. The glowing embers fade. Silence. Inside the dimly lit building, an intense air of seriousness fills the space. Miss Lee Yuri steps forward, holding a small sealed container glowing faintly. Lee Yuri, calmly yes. The item has been secured. No one saw me. Min Young-woo smiles faintly, the embers around his shoulders fading into the shadows. Min Young-woo, good. Then let's make our exit quietly. Narration with the goods retrieved and the threats silenced. The old man's fire dims, but the war for the map has only begun. Lee Yuri steps forward, confident and calm, the flicker of firelight from the smoldering wreckage behind her casting a warm glow on her school uniform. She bends slightly, one finger extended, and gently taps the head of the small, Anubis-like statue with a crisp tack. Lee Yuri, speaking with a slight smirk. I just need this guy. As her fingertip makes contact, the statue begins to react. A pulse of eerie violet energy spreads from the point of contact. Cracks form along the figure's surface, and a mysterious light seeps out, filling the air with ancient power. Her expression remains calm, but focused. This isn't her first time dealing with an artifact like this. Her eyes shimmer with a soft violet glow, calm and commanding. Shadows coil around her fingers like smoke responding to a ritual. A simple declaration follows, deadly in its confidence. If anyone gets in the way, he'll take care of it. The figurine in her hand pulses violently. Cracks ripple across the base as unholy energy spirals out. A monstrous form begins to emerge, towering, horned, drenched in darkness. The silence breaks with an earth-splitting shriek. The battlefield just shifted. The smoke slowly parts, revealing a gleaming golden armor bathed in darkness. Every inch radiates majesty and menace. As the camera lingers on the hip plate, faint sparks begin to flicker. The full form now stands tall, a towering figure clad in divine black and gold, with ancient hieroglyphic patterns glowing across its back. Two curved horns rise from its helm, and the unmistakable Ankh symbol pulses with ethereal energy as dark tendrils swirl around it. A silent declaration. The Guardian has descended. The towering beast stands guard, radiating power and menace. His spear, planted into the shattered concrete, serves as both a weapon and a warning. Behind him, the girl speaks with a calm threat. Anyone who moves from now onwards will be seen as an enemy. Her casual tone contrasts with the lethal promise in her next line. Got it? I'll make him munch on your head. And then, like flipping a switch, she brightens up with a sweet smile, genuine, yet eerily out of place. Let's cooperate, okay? Behind the kindness lies command. One guy stares in disbelief, sweat trailing down his jaw. The heat, the pressure, it's too much. The other, mouth dry, eyes wide. They're not just students anymore. They're monsters. The metallic clang echoes. Knives and hammers fall to the floor, a loud surrender. The map, the ambition, the fight, all abandoned. Their courage melts faster than steel under magic fire. Lee Yuri clasps her hands with a radiant sparkle in her eyes. Thank you, she chirps sweetly, her smile so warm it could melt steel. Behind that charm, though, lingers the confidence of someone who just bent the battlefield to her will. Suddenly, her smile fades. She murmurs, eyes narrowing slightly, posture alert. Her instincts tingle. Something is off. The shift in the wind, the slight vibration under her feet, Danger is approaching. Sound of glass crunching underfoot. A lone step echoes with tension. The polished shoe presses firmly against the broken tiles scattered on the floor, signaling someone's bold approach. The air shifts. A figure in a white shirt walks calmly through the fog and wreckage, completely unbothered by the crowd's wary stares. His presence is sharp, like a blade unsheathed. The room falls quiet. No one dares move. All eyes follow him, but no one dares speak. Something dangerous has just entered the room. The camera tilts upward slightly, focusing on the mysterious young man's half-shadowed face. His expression is calm, eyes unreadable under his fringe. He adjusts his grip on the old cloth bundle as he murmurs. Still, it would have been a pain if it had gotten damaged. Soft gust stirs the dust as he gently brushes off a few shards of glass from the artifact wrapped inside. The surrounding chaos doesn't faze him. He treats the object with the reverence of a museum curator. Behind him, the others tense, uncertain whether to be relieved or scared. The boy in the white jacket freezes as a voice calls out to him from behind. He turns slightly, sensing the shift in atmosphere. The girl has had enough. With glowing violet eyes and a deadly serious expression, she stares him down. All playfulness gone, her words hit like a threat. She's not bluffing anymore. The towering summon crashes its foot down with a thunderous impact, cracking the floor beneath like paper. Shockwaves ripple outward, raw force that silences even the air. With a gleam of control in her glowing violet eyes, she casually rests her hand on the beast's wrist. Her voice is calm but commanding. Get him! Like a general giving her executioner the signal, her chilling smile seals someone's fate. With a single, fluid motion, the Anubis-like guardian raises its deadly weapon and swings downward in a clean, vicious arc. Its glowing crimson eyes and gaping, toothy snarl radiate a feral intensity, a beast unleashed with no hesitation. A thunderous blast explodes outward as the blade strikes, yet the target is gone. The white-haired figure is already airborne, effortlessly flipping above the blow, propelled by the sheer force of the strike itself. His silhouette is etched against the bright, blinding shockwave, completely untouched. The protagonist, calm and unflinching, gets a quiet flex. He didn't block or dodge. He just tanked the hit like it was nothing.